to Medicine with the Metals. I'm Mark, and this is Michelle. Join us and yourself on our psychedelic journeys. Hey, Michelle.
Another great week.
Always is. You know, we always say it's great because that's what we say. It's great. But yeah, there's a lot of craziness these past weeks.
Well, there's a lot of craziness, but we say that it's great because we wake up every day.
I'm
We
grateful.
get to do exactly what we love to do in the space that we love to do it in. So I think that's probably why we say it's great every day.
Right. And you know what? My brother-in-law sent me something really interesting. Somebody that, kind of wondered about this space a little bit. But what did they say? $1.2 billion industry, so psychedelics here, 2025.
By 2025,
Pretty interesting, huh?
I can believe that. It's
Psychedelic.
becoming very mainstream.
Yeah,
Right? What do they say? Avocado. It's the new avocado toast.
Avocado toast, avocado roast. Speaking of mainstream, we really believe in integration.
Yes.
One of the biggest components of the
Why we
psychedelic
started the
experience.
plant medicine path.
And we have a great guest today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce her?
Yep. We've got Amber Helgeson, and she is coming here from Colorado, and she is going to talk about psilocybin and Topezi Weki.
Tapabi. We'll let her pronounce that.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and as soon as we get back, we're going to bring Amber on, and she is going to pronounce it correctly and tell us what it's all about.
Tired of feeling like you're barely holding on? Are you searching online for answers, only to come up with more questions? Looking for ways to feel better and make life more livable? There is a way where you can feel better and take on the world. Transforming your mental health, nourishing both your body and mind. Embark on a journey to lasting happiness and vitality. All powered by the wisdom of Mother Earth.
Today's guest is a medicine woman and a somatic psychedelic integration coach, which I'm super excited to learn what that's all about. Somatic is of the body, so of the body integration. And yeah, let's welcome her. Amber, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell some people what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Amber. I have been working with psychedelic plant medicines for close to 7 years now, but my journey really started back in 2007 when I stepped in as massage therapist, and I got to learn what the somatic system, the body, really stores and creates, and how it connects to our spiritual body, our emotional body, the mental and the physical body. And that just really kicked off my journey. And so between my years and years of practices between massage therapy, somatic therapy, all the way to stepping in and studying with the Lakota, Navajo, the Cree, the Apache, as well as Maya lineages through shamanism, I kind of created this umbrella, which is now known as the Amber Helgeson method, but it's somatic psychedelic coaching, and it's all about integrating oneself through the body, because the importance of this work, and what I fully believe is that the plant medicines are here to teach us and remind us, it's a better way to say that it's all about being here in the bodies. It's not about having these out of body experiences and not integrating it here, because we're human. We're here to be human. And so this is what I'm here to do, and that's what this method and what I've been doing for over close to 7 years now.
So can you talk a little bit more about somatic therapy? So I think initially you would think that maybe it was, touching during therapy, but that's not what it's about. It's about bringing things through the body.
Yes, it is about bringing things through the body. And I've actually never heard someone refer to somatic as like touching of the body in therapy, which there is a method out there that's called trauma touch therapy that is pretty similar to like you use specific holds on meridians to help the body open and process through trauma. But the way that I work is So let's look at it this way. We all have got DNA strands. We all have cellular structures that have been passed down from lineage to lineage, mother to father, so on and so forth. The body keeps score on everything. So just like we have the conscious and subconscious brain, our cellular structure and our muscle memories remember everything. The difference is that the unconscious or subconscious part of the brain doesn't allow us to access those parts of us consciously because it feels like it's going to be in danger. The body, though, remembers everything.
Absolutely.
And
Our
so,
container.
Yeah,
Our container holds a lot of baggage.
it does. Yeah, one of my favorite books is literally The Body Keeps Score, and feelings buried alive never die.
Yep.
So maybe that's why when we see something and it sparks something in us and we go stiff or we go cold or our stomach gets, something happens, that's what's happening in our body. It's maybe remembering.
Yes, yeah. So remembering, like, it can go from depression, anxiety to freeze mode. It could be all the way down to actual shaking. There's some really good research out there that is paving the way with MS right now and psilocybin, which is really exciting because there's literally not a receptor in the brain that actually creates the chronic condition of MS. And so doctors and therapists are really starting to move towards, okay, is this an emotional response? And as our emotions get trapped in the body, which create these conditions sometimes. And so the somatic means we're going to tap into the knowledge of the body. It's essentially moving from the head to the heart. We're going to tap into what's here and we're going to walk through it together. That can look like actual movement, can look like breathing. Sometimes it can go into what we call as sacred rage, where sometimes you just have to scream into a pillow and punch a pillow and in a safe space to allow that to process, because there's these emotional scales that you have to process through.
I love that because it all comes down to, like, for myself, and I can only speak for myself, when I come into these medicines, and I'll just say, like ayahuasca, for example, what a great medicine to go inside and to go navigate those traumas and pull those traumas out. However it does that, it's just a blessing. And, that's where all your traumas sit, like you said. I mean, our container is just full of traumas, and to relieve those, we have to revisit these. And, I think there's all of these medicines out there, but for some reason, psilocybin really seems to connect us all. You know what I mean? It connects your gut to your brain. It just seems to have that great connection.
Yeah, I call it the great connector.
Yeah. Yeah, it truly is the great connector, because what it does is it activates. It can take, so look at it this way, like a neural pathway in the neuroscience world. When a neural pathway shuts off at 90% and there's only 10% of it functioning, they consider it dead. Psilocybin has been scientifically proven to reactivate those styles of neural pathways.
Absolutely.
So what it does is it shifts someone, not just mentally, but also within the body, out of this pattern, this frozen pattern of fight or flight or trauma, and actually starts to activate these neural pathways that provide thriving, that provide being able to look outside of the box, that have kept them there in the beta of the brain, which is the fight and flight.
Now, most of the times nowadays in this generation, we are going to pharmaceutical drugs for the antidepressants to relieve all these traumas, which these aren't doing absolutely nothing for us.
To relieve the symptoms.
Yeah, symptoms. So the biggest thing when we're on this psilocybin and when somebody wants to jump on this journey, those receptors are blocked because of these antidepressants. Can you explain maybe how you think that works, or why that works that way, and navigate us through that?
Yeah, so just before I go there, I'm not a doctor.
Nope, absolutely
I
not.
have done research. I do have the opportunity, and I have been working with a close friend around psilocybin and research. I'm actually heading the very first of its kind research with Tepes Quejite, which is the Maya smoke medicine we'll talk about here shortly.
For sure.
So what happens in Western medicine, traditional Western medicine was created to be able to break up any type of chronic condition within a 24-hour frame. And though what has happened over time is because of the chemicals that that they actually put into the medication, you create more contraindications with it, right? So it kind of what it does when it attaches to the receptors, your serotonin receptors, dopamine receptors are all there to give you the grandiose experience of all these emotions. And so when someone has severe depression or complex trauma, PTSD, what happens is it's multifaceted. Western medicine is just focusing on one aspect of it, is that we're just this physical being with this brain. We're so much more than that. So in shamanism and traditional lineages of North and South America, we have our spiritual body, which is our first and most important body. Then it goes into the mental body. Then that goes into the the emotional, and then the physical. And so in shamanism, we get taught that there's spirit fragmentation. When someone has got depression, anxiety, it's because there's a spirit fragmentation. And what they mean by that is we're light beings. That is our natural state. We're of love. Things are meant to be blissful, but we chose to be on these planets to experience contrast, to be human, right? And sometimes that contrast is painful. And so they believe that a part of the spirit actually fragments or goes offline, which then you can actually see in the brain, where there's actual neural pathways that shut off. And then that forms into emotional instabilities. And emotional instabilities means that you're not capable of being able to function through depression, that these moments that would an everyday person might be able to function through, they can't, because there's parts of themselves as a whole that is fragmented. And so Western medicine only accesses one portion of a whole. And so going in and having antidepressants or something of that sort only suppresses it, band-aids really what's going on. And so the way that I work, which is why integration is huge, especially when working with plant medicines, is we're going to go and we're going to talk to your spirit. We're going to bring you back online. We're going to look at the mental, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual aspects of yourself that have you dysregulated. And plant medicine is just a tool. You have to be willing to do the work outside of that. The plant medicine is only going to guide you to where you're ready, or sometimes it will guide you to the areas that you may not want to go, but with the proper coaching and proper integration, you'll be able to walk through it so easily.
100%.
So quickly, can we just go back and touch on, because I love this MS and psilocybin that you were talking about. And I've always believed that, dis-ease of the mind, this is what we used to say in AA, dis-ease of the mind causes disease in the body. I do believe that this is true. I know it's true for myself. When I'm anxious and having anxiety, my gut hurts, I get diarrhea, I feel sick. I mean, and it goes to the whole another level of cancer and these other diseases. So I believe that 1000%. So can you just quickly talk about that? Because I love that this is happening. And I truly believe that too. We have a very dear friend who had MS and went to ayahuasca, and she's in full remission. And Yeah.
So I actually have a really close friend here in Colorado Springs who has been heading research on the different strains of psilocybin to see what will benefit what style of dis-ease. And I prefer the word dis-ease as well too, but most of the world is like, what? Dis-ease? And so she has got 2 clients currently who are actually working with their medical doctors. And between working with more of a naturopathic supplement instead of their Western medicine, along with working with strains such as golden teachers, blue meanies, that sort of thing, they're actually having a better response with their MS than they ever have with their Western medication. And so it's as far as I can go because they're still in the process of the research and everything. But it's really exciting, and it's even more exciting that we have actual medical doctors now who are coming forward to actually support this type of thing.
Yeah, what an injustice the 60s did to this whole medicine space. And now it's coming back strong. But it might be coming back in maybe too fast right now, but it is rapidly excelling. And I think because we're in a rapidly declining state where we're in, and I think there's access to everything now. So, the science is there behind these medicines. Nobody can doubt it. Nobody's ever died on psilocybin. They've never died. This is lineages and lineages and lineages of people using this. It's only become the Western world and this modern culture that hasn't used these medicines. So science is there.
Let's talk about your
Yes. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, because I think that has to do with what you're talking about.
Let's talk.
Yeah, so Tepezcuijite is how you pronounce it.
You say it beautifully.
Thank you. I've been with him for over 6 years, so we've got a beautiful
Beautiful.
relationship. And so I stepped in with Tepes Quejite for my own healing. And at that time, I had been working in the spirit realm as a shaman for such a long time that he kind of blew me out of the water. I was absolutely blown away with the message that this medicine has. And so this medicine hails from the Yucatan. It is made by hand. It is a lineage medicine. And so what I mean by lineage medicine is ayahuasca, San Pedro, peyote, bufo, and Tepes Quejite are all spirit medicines. And so it means that they actually come from lineages that are thousands of years old. They have prayers when they're made. And so there's like a spirit form that comes with it. And so its spirit name is abuelito, which is little grandfather. And you go down the Yucatan, it's everywhere. It's known to the Maya as this love medicine. And man, is it a love medicine for a multitude of reasons. My favorite analogy or metaphor for it is, even though abuelito is little grandfather, it is a plant medicine, so I don't think it really has a gender.
Right.
I've had it show up as feminine. I've had it show up as masculine. And
Okay.
but my favorite one is, imagine yourself as you're on your deathbed and you're sick, right? You have the most amazing mother, the most nourishing, supportive mother figure who is bringing you back to life in every form. That is abuelito. And he can do it in a very loving, gentle, playful way. And then sometimes he's going to give you like a mother's love, where it's tough love to work through it. And so Tepes Quejite literally translates to the tree of life, which is awesome. And it is made up of 2 pure forms of DMT. And it is a 2-month vinegar extraction. So it's 100% organic. It doesn't see a chemical, made by hand in the casa of Rex, who is the elder and the lineage carrier of this.
Okay.
And this medicine is a lineage medicine, 100%.
So what is an experience like on this medicine? What is
And
how
how
long
do
does it
you-
last, and
Yeah.
what is it and what do you use the after kind of glow?
Yeah. So it's a whole ceremony lasts about 4 hours long. In that 4 hours, you have anywhere between 3 to 4 rounds of medicine, and those rounds last about 20 to 30 minutes. So just like traditional synthetic DMT or even bufo, you have that very quick out-of-body experience. This one's just a little bit more elongated, but it's not really out of body. This medicine is all about grounding, just like the tree. As deep as those roots go into the tree is as high as you go into the canopy. That is abuelito. So it roots you into the body, which is a very somatic experience. You're going to feel it in the body. You're going to have these bodily experiences while having your visuals. I've had people see abuelito in dragon form, jaguar, because the jaguar are known as the Maya. All the way to looking at flowers of life, that kind of thing. And so the biggest shocker for people with this medicine is that you do feel it in the body, but also because it's smoke, it goes directly into the bloodstream. And the moment you exhale, you're going on your journey.
So you smoke it.
Yes, it is a smoke medicine. Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
And do you combine it with psilocybin? Do they work well together?
Oh yeah. I could tell you about that journey. So that ceremony came to me after I had graduated. It was like 3 years into graduating from the lineage and being able to carry and hold my own ceremonies. And I sat with the medicine 3 times, and every time he'd put his hand up and he was like, "No, you're not supposed to go there." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not supposed to go there?" And so I thought it was my ego. So I called a friend who also worked with psilocybin at the time, and she's like, "Come over, I'll hold space for you." So I head over, and she's like, "You need to add psilocybin to this experience." I was like, "Great, let's do it." And so in that experience, it turned into like a 6-hour experience where I was on a decent amount of psilocybin, and then abuelito came forward halfway through and was like, "It's time to smoke me." And I literally saw my internal beacon, my own planet, move from this very dense frequency that I had been working on through my family lineage to thriving. It literally went from like darkness and density, and I saw it shift into thriving and being alive. And I literally saw a phoenix rise from my chest in that moment, and I saw my body turn to ashes. And in that moment, the wind, because we were outside, the wind picked up and my body blew away.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I am an Isis priestess, so I work with Isis and Ra, Egyptian deities. And in that moment too, like Ra held me up to the sun and was like, "You are reborn."
Wow.
And so these two really work great together because psilocybin cracks the mental aspects of the brain open, and it allows Tepes to go way deeper than it would on its own. And so you're getting best of both worlds. Psilocybin is great with the brain, great with the neural structures, great with the nervous system. Tepes Cohete is really great with that somatic structure, that cellular structure. And so between the two, it really is this golden nugget.
And you
know,
offer this ceremony now? Do you do this?
Yes. Yeah, it's actually one of my most popular. I don't just do it in a one sit ceremony, though. All of my work does come with integration, whether it's two pre-ceremony and two post-ceremony. My most popular one is a 12-week course where there's 2-day immersions with psilocybin and tepes, and then tons of integration.
And you're in Colorado?
Yes.
Yes. And do you
Yes.
travel to people as well?
I do. I'm actually leaving for Austin in 2 weeks. I head to Idaho quite often as well, too. Hawaii is kind of jumping on the radar now as well, as
Okay.
well as I've got actually 2 gals who have apprenticed with me who actually are in the South currently and doing work out there.
and where do you see all this going?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. My hope for this, and it's not just with tepes, it's across the board. I really hope that Colorado, because we are leading the way right now, we're paving the way with being able to merge the state with facilitators who do provide this style of work, whether it continues to be outside of the state program or in the state program. I just really hope that we can continue to educate people on the importance of proper facilitation and the importance of it being integration. It's not about drugs anymore. It's not
not.
something that you just go and party. This is here for the planet because we are on a pivotal fast track. Timelines are shifting. Everything is moving faster. It is now this time where we have to get a little bit more serious, but it doesn't have to be serious like, we can still have fun with it.
Absolutely.
And so my hope over time is that it brings us more together. And that's actually really a great metaphor because here in Colorado, when Proposition 122 passed, there was a lot of separation within the medicine community. And now that it's passed, everyone's kind of been forced to come together and work together to make sure that this goes in the direction that we want it to.
Well, it's all about community. This has to be about
Yes.
community because, I mean, without the community, how are we going to move forward? We're just going to keep creating blockades for each other. I think we're fighting against a big dark force, and I think it's going to take a community.
Yeah. I mean, we've got all these islands out there, and, we started the plant medicine path to bring them together and, do this together.
Yeah. And going back to all that, like Colorado with the psychedelics and stuff, how is that going there?
In all honesty, I know that the intention of creating it was for the better. And I know that especially when it comes to politics, we're not going to always get what we want.
Yeah.
That said, there's always new avenues. And I think with where it's headed, the new avenues such as opening up private membership associations or private healing associations, which actually takes you out of federal law and puts you into a whole other sector, will allow facilitators like myself and others to be able to perform these types of healing within a community and do it in a way that is way better than what the state program was created to do.
Yeah, because this is, I think they don't understand the individualism of these medicines. I mean, like, this is not a go to the office every week kind of journey. This is personal. And I don't think they figured this out yet. And it's really nothing to figure out because people, once they get access to these medicines, and they educate themselves, they can navigate their mental health pretty much at home. I think there's bigger medicines to go to, like ayahuasca, bufo, iboga. But for the Western world, I think psilocybin's really going to kick in quickly because a lot of people are waking up to this.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And, when it comes to each individual plant medicine as well, too, they all have different, like the grandiose vision of it is one purpose, and that's bring us back to unity.
Sure.
Yes.
But they all work differently within that. There's an intention for Tepes Cohete that goes, I remember why I do this. I do this to know the truth of all things, to know you, to know me, to heal you, to heal me. For I remember why I do this. We do this for peace, truth, honesty, and understanding, and ask permission of the local spirits and come humbly in your healing. And its purpose, its message is love, that you are already love, and that it's here to dismantle or disconnect you from the illusions that you are not that. Because we live in a world where separation through technology, through
the norm.
programming, is the illusion. And so these plant medicines are here to bring us back to the community. It's here to bring us back to earth, nature, where we are innately from.
Back to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's such an illusion how we live today. I mean, a lot of us are breaking the stigma, breaking the chains. We're all starting to do our part, but it's going to take a bigger community and more education, information, people like yourself, these doctors that are coming out now, psychiatrists. I mean, I think they all say the same thing. Western medicine isn't working. Western medicine has a spot, its place.
Definitely.
But
There's definitely a
does.
time and a place for it.
Mental health is not a one pill fix all. It just isn't. So you can't somebody with Prozac and say everything's going to be great, because it's not.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you offer? Can you talk to us about what you offer there in Colorado Springs? I just moved from Colorado a couple of years ago down to Florida.
I love Florida.
From Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in Longmont, which is just north of Denver. And so I provide public and private group ceremonies with Tepes Cohite. My next one is actually April 6th. And that one is going to be held in the mountains of Boulder, Colorado.
Nice.
And so those always come with integration. There's always a post-integration session with everyone who's attended. Most of my work, though, are programs. I do coaching. I think it's important to coach. There is an absolute importance behind saying, you're coming to plant medicine for a reason. What really is that reason? It's kind of like working with tarot cards versus working with oracle cards. I love doing one-on-one ceremonies, especially, I think the one-on-one ceremonies are great for people who have been doing the work already. You want to come to a public ceremony or a private one, let's do it. I know that you have a whole like structure that you can handle and work through whatever's coming forward. But let's say it, like 80% of the world doesn't do that. They're just now waking up to this idea. And so I combined neurolinguistic programming with shamanism, energy work, somatic therapy, plant medicine, as well as talk therapy into programs, whether that's a 12-week, which is my most popular. It's the somatic psychedelic integration, where you've got 10 integration programs or sessions, and those can look like you're having a shamanic soul retrieval. We're doing NLP, where we're going in and looking at what are the structures that your brain has been programmed off of that keep you in this continual loop. And then all the way down to just somatic, giving you the day-to-day tools, which it's really interesting to see individuals realize the most basic tools are your most important tools. We love, I feel like as a human condition, we love to make it bigger than what it's supposed to be. And so going back to the basics is really where you're gonna thrive. Like an example could be, I have high anxiety. And so within that high anxiety, this is how I don't show up. Okay, great. Let's pick one tiny little nugget, one thing of every morning you're gonna wake up at this time and then you're gonna just go do some breath work. And you just do that. And then you incorporate that with the plant medicine. And what's really amazing about that 12-week course is I am just the conduit. The plant medicine and your intention is what paves the way for that program and how it unfolds. And so I have a guideline, but no person's 12-week program looks the same. And so on top of that, I also work with couples. Couples thrive in this space. And so to have healthy relationships, partners, business partnerships, whatever it might be, you have to understand yourself. And most people don't. Most people do not know themselves. And so going through a 6-month to a 12-month program with your partner and plant medicine is really where that dives in as well too. I work with women, as you're pulling up right now, the Embodied Feminine course actually ends on the spring equinox, which is going to be so exciting. We go in as women, we're innate beings that are very multidimensional. This one, the Embodied Feminine course, does not work with plant medicine. I'm multifaceted. So I can work with plant medicine, and I don't work with plant medicine. I see the benefit of working with plant medicine, though, because it's like a fast track. The very first study that we've done with Tepes Cohite literally has shown 1 week after someone sat with plant medicine and we did an EEG. It was before they sat, directly after they sat, and then a week after they sat. 1 week after they sat, the plant medicine was still working with them, and any sign of trauma that was in line within the neural pathways and the way that the brain was responding was gone.
Yeah. And I think in this space, you're going to understand who's truth and real if you're promoting the medicine and not promoting the progress. I mean, because the medicine is so small. It's like the catalyst, and it just opens those pathways. And then when the pathways are open, you do the work.
But the medicine time itself, actually being in the medicine, is the smallest part
small.
of all
Yeah,
of this.
right.
It's the pre and
Yeah.
the post.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the pre is just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's just
absolutely.
another journey if you don't do nothing with it. It's just another experience.
The pre is my favorite, honestly.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
and like what I was saying earlier is like tarot, when you work with tarot cards, tarot is like straight to the point. They're going to tell you what it is that you're actually asking, even if you're not aware of it. Whereas like oracle is kind of like a fluff and buff. When you do pre-work, a facilitator who is actually in relationship with plant medicine, which means that they actually have built a long-term relationship with the plant medicine that they work with because they've done their own work with it, is able to track someone. They're able to see where they're lying to themselves. They're able to read between the lines and help guide that person to their authentic truth. And so the pre-work is so important because it's like, okay, is that really what you're wanting to work on? And then sometimes it might start out like that. Okay. And then halfway through, it's like, okay, we've already had a ceremony. Now, where are you feeling? Oh, you're right. That wasn't really what I was wanting to focus on. I feel like this is coming forward. So it's a relationship that you get to build. And on top of it, my closest friends have all come from my programs and my ceremonies because they're like, that's just the style of community that gets built within that.
Absolutely. 100%. So where can we find you?
So you can go to somaticpsychedeliccoach.com, as well as on Instagram, it's in Embodied Medicine Weaving.
Beautiful. Psychedelic integration coach is going to be a big, big thing in the next few years.
Yes.
A lot of people are going to be risking their licenses, and I think because they see the value here. There's tons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Tons of value.
absolutely.
And
I mean, this is the I hate these kind of sayings, but the wave of the future. I mean, I think people are waking up and understanding that pharmaceuticals are not working. Talk therapy takes too long. It's not working, and people are wanting a different way.
psychedelics integrated with talk therapy, integrated with coaching, is the answer. It's the answer to all this. And because it is, it's your mental health. Without your mental health, your physical, it's where it starts. It doesn't start in the brain because the brain's just a processor of thoughts. It's not a processor of feelings. It's just going to remember that feeling.
And so when you work with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, you have the triad. And the triad is literally everything. There's many different ways to look at this. And it's kind of like when you look at religion, like Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, they're all talking about the same thing, just from different viewpoints. And so within the triad, you've got your physiology, which is your foundation. You've got your emotional state and then your mental state. And what's in between is your spiritual state. And in shamanism, they teach you, like I said before, they teach you that spiritual body is your most important. If we do not bridge science with spirituality, we're going to continue down the same path that we've continued. And what I mean by spirituality is it's not just religion. Whatever works for you, works for you. But I'm actually tapping into you as a spiritual being. If we do not come to the heart and your body doesn't actually register all the work that you're doing, you're not going to fully integrate.
Well, all religion points to one thing, and that's source. And that source is us. Doesn't that make sense?
Makes total sense.
Total sense. Well, it was a great conversation today.
Absolutely.
You're very interesting, knowledgeable women, and we need more of this. We need more of this information and education. That's why we do this.
Yes, and we would definitely be interested in coming in and trying your beautiful medicine sometime.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'll come to Florida anytime. Just let me know.
Okay. Well, I hope you'll come back and talk with us. And before we go, can you tell everybody where we can find you online again?
One more time.
Yep. Yeah. So you can go to www.somaticpsychedeliccoach.com, or you can go to Instagram at Embodied Medicine Weaving. There is something that I would like to add in here as well too, is I am getting ready to launch a 2-year program where individuals who are actually serious about becoming this style of facilitator super rooted into themselves, I'm creating an embodied medicine weaving program where you become your medicine and you learn how to facilitate and walk all the places and the ways that I do, and so that you can facilitate moving forward.
When does that start?
So it's actually going to launch in September of this year, but it actually won't start until 2025, January 2025.
Okay.
Well,
Very
beautiful
cool.
work, Amber. Beautiful work you're doing. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
really good show today. Really good.
She was great. I love the way she explained everything, and the MS and the psilocybin studies. That's amazing. Yeah.
Need to cure some of this stuff instead of letting it just. What we don't cure it. What do we do? Just how do we say we heal it?
How do I say that again?
We mask it.
We mask it.
We mask these
Yeah,
things.
that's right. It's about actually healing it at a cellular level.
Do I got a good psychedelic story this week?
I'm very excited. It's my favorite part of the show.
Valerie Lang Hall.
Valerie Langhaw, a good friend of ours.
Sounds like a superhero.
She does. She is a superhero.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's show her.
My name is Valerie, and this is my psychedelic story. I was at a point in my life where I felt an impasse. It was worse than an impasse. It was an oppression, and I'd always flourished at everything I did, my work, my personal life, everything. I excelled and performed, and I came to a point where I felt paralyzed. I'd go to take a shower and I'd lay down in the shower and not be able to get up. And I would sit at my desk at work and stare out the window and not be able to do any tasks. And I limped along. I came to another point where it was the third time that I'd heard of this medicine. And from a deep place, I knew that there was something that needed to be cracked open. I explained to someone that I think I've always had this fear of dealing with what was stuck inside me, the darkness that was there, and afraid of tapping into that. But I felt like there was a chance where it could be like a piñata. And once it got cracked open, Sour Patch Kids and Skittles and good things could come out of it. And so I decided to try ayahuasca to see if that could produce that kind of an experience. I had a loss of a relationship that it didn't make any sense that I wasn't able to get over it. That was kind of the final push, that and the this third time that I'd heard someone talk about ayahuasca. So I participated in a weekend of 3 ceremonies. And for the first time in my life, I felt unconditional love and peace and a warmth inside of me that I'd never experienced. My first experience, I thought it was coming from an outside place. And as I continued to work with the medicine, I realized it was coming from me, that I needed to learn how to tap into more of what I could give myself. I went back to some really dark places in childhood. I had experienced a gang rape at a young age, and that was stuck, just controlling my life. Even as I thought I could outrun and outperform anything bad that could have ever happened to me, I was being controlled by things that happened to me in my youth that I didn't even make the connection between the two, because I was evaluating myself based upon external factors, and the medicine helped me tap into how I actually feel about things, as opposed to how I look and how my life looks to the outside world. So ayahuasca was really groundbreaking in that regard. I had experience with bufo. I went to Mexico and had a beautiful experience with that medicine. Showed me what my life would be like if I didn't make any changes. And it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying to me. And it also showed me what I was capable of if I was willing to make changes, which was a beautiful thing. I had some combo at that time as well. And then the conclusion of my Bufo retreat, I had the chance to work with mushrooms, and I had a great experience, kind of like a friend, a companion that I felt like I could take with me. And when I got back from that, I found the metals. Somehow I discovered Mark and Michelle, just beautiful souls, beautiful people. And I began working with mushrooms that have really helped me more on a day-to-day kind of a nitty-gritty level. So the other medicines, beautiful medicines I worked with, showed me big pictures and big themes. And mushrooms have really helped me integrate. And I can't say enough good about how the medicine has changed my life. I'm a different person. I'm a more loving person. I'm a more patient person with myself and others. I hold space for myself. I hold space for other people like I never have before. I continue to work with mushrooms. I'm really excited, especially with the new year, to see what's going to unfold for me.
Vulnerable.
I love her. She's a very good friend of ours. What I love about Valerie is she's a lawyer, and so she's very lawyerish, you know. She's very official.
We sat with her with psilocybin. Pretty amazing.
But she's so she's just so real, and
she's a cool chick.
she really does the work. Mm-hmm. When we talk about somebody that does the work, she does it.
And she's navigated it so well, you know. Our first medicine, mine at least, was ayahuasca. And then I did some others like that. But she saw how the process worked, and she kept exploring. And look at her now.
It's amazing. It's amazing how far she's come. And she's beautiful. I love watching her journey.
We love her.
That's what these medicines do. It showed her what her life could become if she didn't make some changes.
True.
And that's what it did to me too.
Mm-hmm. I think it does that to all of us. We just have to open up to that change. Well, another great psychedelic story.
I
another
love
great
these psychedelic
podcast.
stories. I cry every time.
Yeah, they're awesome.
It's very moving. And
I mean, their vulnerabilities too. You know, people are just showing their. Where else do they want to do that? You would only do that. Like I put that in a scenario a couple of weeks ago. But you would only do that to show others. You know?
I mean, if you met Valerie on the street,
you would never know.
You would never think oh, this woman does psychedelics. It's just, that's what I love. That's what I love. That's what I love about these psychedelic stories is it really gets faces out there and it breaks the stigma.
Definitely. Well, another great show. Thanks, Michelle.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Have a beautiful week.